Hello, friends. Welcome to Gentleman Cadet Academy in GCA. Hope you all are doing good. So, another video in the GD topics with the leads discussion series. So, today the topic of the GD is how India can strengthen its position in the Indian Ocean region. So, again, a very important topic, and questions related to this can be asked in the personal interview also. And before this, I have made similar high level GD topics. If you want to watch these videos, the link of the playlist is available in the I button. So, like always, without wasting any time, let us start. So, the topic of the GD is how can India strengthen its position in the Indian Ocean region? And three leads are given. The very first is it by enhancing naval capabilities? Second is it by building strategic alliances? And the third is it by leveraging soft power? So, now let us discuss each lead one by one. So, talking about the first lead, that is by enhancing naval capabilities. So, China's expanding presence in the Indian Ocean region, primarily through the String of Pearls initiative, is reshaping the maritime landscape. And with the development of ports, naval bases, and military facilities from Gawada to Hambantota, China's growing maritime footprint presents significant strategic challenges to India, especially in safeguarding its sea lanes of communications and regional influence. And to maintain maritime dominance and secure critical choke points, India need to substantially enhance its naval capabilities. So, talking about the key areas for enhancement, first is by modernizing the Indian Navy. So, accelerating the induction of indigenous aircraft carriers like INS Vikrant will provide India with a formidable air power projection platform, which is crucial for deterring Chinese maritime expansion. And the integration of next generation aircraft like MiG 29K and Tejas Mark 1A will further boost operational flexibility. And also, in terms of submarines, the continued expansion of the submarine fleet under Project 75 Scorpion class and Project 75I, that is next generation submarines, will enable India to achieve greater underwater combat capability and strategic deterrence. And submarines are vital for countering China's growing submarine fleet in the region, and also by focusing on enhancing India's strike and defensive capabilities through advanced surface competence, including stealth frigates, destroyers, and corvettes. The P-15B Vishakhapatnam class destroyers and P-17A Shivale class frigates represent significant advances in naval warfare with advanced radar systems, anti-aircraft system, and anti-submarine warfare capabilities. Then, in terms of maritime domain awareness, that is MDA, so strengthening maritime surveillance through agencies like the Information Fusion Center for the Indian Ocean region will allow India to monitor regional maritime activity, and integrating data from satellites, radars, and ships will provide a real-time picture of Chinese naval movements. And also by the deployment of cutting-edge UAVs and underwater drones will help India to maintain constant surveillance over the strategically important waters around Malacca Strait, the Sunda Strait, and Lombok Strait. Then, in terms of naval base expansion, so developing forward operating bases in key locations like the Andaman and Nicobar Command, which control access to vital maritime routes in the Bay of Bengal and Malacca Strait, provide India with an operational edge. So, the strategic positioning of bases like Dhanush Kodi base will allow for a quicker response to potential Chinese threats. Then, expanding logistical cooperation with regional allies like Oman, Mauritius, and Seychelles can help India maintain a network of bases that extend its naval reach, enabling sustained naval deployments in the Indian Ocean region and quick responses to security challenges. And India should also continue strengthening ties with allies like US, Japan, and Australia through regular naval exercises such as Malabar. And these joint exercises enhance interoperability and act as a demonstration of collective strength. So, participation in exercises like RIMPAC, that is Pacific Rim, will allow India to project its naval power globally and maintain close ties with major Indo Pacific powers. Then, moving to the second lead, building strategic alliances with key nations. So, the Indian Ocean is home to numerous small island states like Maldives, Mauritius, and Seychelles, which occupy critical geostrategic positions along major maritime routes. So, these countries hold vital potential to influence regional security and trade dynamics. So, strengthening India's diplomatic and defense ties with these nations is essential to maintain a favorable balance of power in the region. So, in terms of defense cooperation, so strengthening agreements like the India Maldives Action Plan for Defense Cooperation and India Seychelles Defense Cooperation Pact is vital for ensuring that these nations' security needs align with India's broader regional strategy. And these agreements will help India establish a military footprint, which is a key in the regions, and thereby reducing China's influence. And India can also enhance maritime security by helping these island nations set up radar surveillance system, which will aid in monitoring illicit activities like piracy, illegal fishing, and human trafficking. Then, in terms of infrastructure development, so by assisting in the development of ports, coastal surveillance system, and maintenance facilities, India can secure a strategic footholds in these nations. Projects like Agalega Islands, which is in Mauritius, and Assumption Island, which is in Seychelles, they are prime examples of how India can counter China's Belt and Road Initiative by ensuring that critical infrastructure in these nations remains aligned with India's security and economic interest. And also by expanding air, sea, and digital connectivity will not only strengthen India's economic influence but also facilitate faster deployment of naval assets and logistical support. And in terms of capacity building, India should continue offering training programs to the defense forces of island nations through initiatives like the Indian Technical and Economic Cooperation. This would enable these nations to build their own defense and maritime security capacities, reducing their reliance on external parts. And India should also supply patrol vessels, maritime surveillance system, and helicopters to island nations, enhancing their capacity to defend their maritime zones while deepening defense ties. And also, regular high level visits from Indian leaders to island nations and vice versa will strengthen bilateral ties. And India should also promote joint economic initiatives such as collaborative development projects, trade partnerships to ensure long-term engagement and alignment. And many nations in the Indian Ocean regions, they share historical and cultural ties with India, which can be further leveraged to foster goodwill. Public diplomacy campaigns focusing on shared heritage, cultural exchanges, and people-to-people ties can reinforce mutual trust and support for India's regional leadership role. Then finally, moving to the third and the last lead, that is leveraging soft power. So, India's growing reputation as a net security provider in the Indian Ocean can be greatly enhanced through humanitarian assistance and disaster relief operations. So, these missions not only showcase India's commitment to regional stability, but also build goodwill with smaller nations that may be wary of China's influence. Then, in terms of disaster relief operations, so India's swift response to natural disaster in the Indian Ocean region through missions like Operation Rahat of 2015, that is evacuating Indian nationals from Yemen, and Operation Samudra Setu of 2020, which repatriated Indians stranded abroad during the COVID pandemic, solidified India's image as a reliable partner in crisis. And continuing such efforts would reaffirm India's role as the region's primary humanitarian actor. And in terms of medical and logistical support, India should continue positioning its Navy ships equipped with medical facilities and supplies for rapid deployment during emergencies. So, by offering disaster relief capabilities, India can further cement its status as a leading regional partner. And in terms of building goodwill, so given the vulnerability of island nations to climate change, India should champion joint initiatives focused on disaster risk reduction, renewable energy, and sustainable maritime practices. So, by presenting itself as a responsible leader in addressing climate related issues, India can further cement its role as a trusted regional actor. And finally, India can take a leading role in global forums and initiatives related to disaster risk reduction, such as the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, positioning itself as a compassionate and proactive leader in the humanitarian assistance. So, by implementing these multifaceted strategies across naval strengthening, strategic alliances, and soft power, India can reinforce its dominance in the Indian Ocean region, countering external strategic threats and enhancing its position as a leader in the regional security and development. So, friends, this is all about the three leads discussion for the given topic, and I hope this video will be helpful for you. So, until then, keep learning, keep watching, keep supporting, and keep preparing. Thank you, and best of luck.